one of the things that attracted us to telling his story was the fact that he made art which really provokes a reaction from people.
My name is Chris Burden.
I studied minimalism. Sculpture, you're supposed to walk around. Sculpture is action.
Whether people love it or hate it or somewhere in between, it was art that you really respond to, but it was also art that, yeah, did ask a lot of questions about what the limits of art are and what constitutes art.
I figured out that the act of doing something in itself could be art. And that's how I got to do performances and call them art.
The economy in the US was also very challenged, which may have fed into the type of minimalist work he did and the sculptural work, and that there wasn't a lot of commercial availability.
He would do things which would be like a slap in the face.
He just walks into the buzzsaw and lets the feathers fly.
In Southern California specifically as well, you know, that was an interesting place for him to be because it wasn't known as a major artistic center back in the late 60s, early 70s when he started. And for him, I think that really made it feel like a blank canvas.
We would make an art that couldn't be bought or sold and gain control of it.
You wouldn't buy any art, would you? Why should I buy it? I can make it.
People like Marina Abramovich, who was doing things that were not dissimilar in Europe, Vito Acconci, who was working on the East Coast. But he was certainly one of the pioneers in that field.
I'm not about death, and I didn't want to die, but I wanted to come close.
What if art was violent? What if it was painful?
It's as American as apple pie.
The shoot piece is one of the few video pieces that Chris had. Most of his performances existed only as still photographs, and they were almost all provided to us by Chris.
Never felt safe around the big wheel. There was not a sculpture you could imagine like little kids going up to in awe and wonder.
I mean, I could see putting it in the Guggenheim and getting it to spin so fast that it explodes and destroys the museum.
He didn't wake up one day and say, I'm gonna be a sculptor now. It happened over, decades, frankly, and I'm sure there were a number of factors.
We build this kind of mystic story about Chris Burden.
Chris has never been afraid to make something that manipulates and embraces spectacle.
Towards the end of his time working in performance, that he was definitely a bit frustrated with the depiction in the press, and there was this label attached to him, the Evel Knievel of art, and which we discuss in the film. So I think he was frustrated at that time with how he was being depicted.
It does push your head around a little, otherwise it's not very good art.
I knew then, and I know now, he was going to shift art history.
The crowd seems happy. Thank you very much, Mr. Burden.